Emily sat down on a lonely road and cried so bitterly, asking God why He had allowed her to face such difficult conditions because of the sins her parents committed at her tender age. Her heart was broken. She felt all alone in the world. Life had been so hard for her. People judged her, mocked her, and treated her like she was the one who had done something wrong. God, she cried, what did I do to deserve this? Why am I suffering for something I know nothing about? Her clothes were torn, her feet were dusty, and her eyes were red from crying. She had tried to be strong, but the pain was too much to carry. Emily happened to be a daughter to Mr. and Mrs. Thompson, a multiple billionaire and a well-known politician. But despite all their wealth and power, they never helped anyone, not even their own family members. Mr. Thompson's younger sister, who married a poor village man, would sometimes travel all the way from the village to Lagos just to beg him for some financial help. Life was very hard for them, and she hoped that her rich brother would show them some kindness. But every time she came, Mr. Thompson would look at her with a straight face and say, "Money is not easy to get. Stop coming to my house to beg me. I'm not a money lender." He would send her away with empty hands and a proud heart. Emily, even as a child, saw all these things. She watched how her parents acted with pride and treated others like they were nothing. She heard the cries of her auntie and saw how her father's heart was filled with greed. Her mother was no different. She wore the finest clothes, went to the biggest parties, and looked down on anyone who was not rich like them. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson were very proud and full of themselves. They believed life would always go their way. They walked around with their heads held high, thinking nothing could ever go wrong for them. They were strict and harsh, especially Mr. Thompson. He was the kind of man who never showed mercy, no matter the situation. Even at Emily's school, people talked about it. Her classmates knew how cruel Mr. Thompson could be. Some of them had heard stories from their parents or seen it for themselves. Because of that, they tried to avoid Emily. They didn't want to get too close, afraid that if they upset her, her father might come after them. Even the teachers were careful around her, treating her more like the daughter of a strict man than just another child. Emily noticed it all. She could feel how different things were for her. No one really wanted to play with her or invite her over. She sat alone during lunch sometimes. She wished she could just be like the other kids, free, happy, and unafraid. She didn't want people to be scared of her because of her father. Sometimes at night, Emily would cry softly into her pillow. She didn't know how to change things. She loved her parents, but she also wished they could be different, kinder, more understanding. She just wanted to feel normal. One day, Emily couldn't take it anymore. She was tired of feeling alone and different. She gathered all her courage and decided to talk to her parents. That evening, she walked slowly to their bedroom, her heart beating fast. She knocked on the door and went in. "Daddy, Mummy," she began softly, "I need to talk to you about something important." Mr. and Mrs. Thompson looked up from what they were doing. "What is it?" Mr. Thompson asked. Emily took a deep breath. "At school, people avoid me. My classmates don't want to talk to me. Even my teachers act differently around me. They're scared because of how you treat people who wrong you. They think you're too harsh, that you never show mercy. And it makes me feel so bad." Her mother raised an eyebrow, and her father crossed his arms. Emily went on. "It's not right. People shouldn't be afraid of us. Everyone is a human being and should be treated with respect and kindness. We can't live thinking we're better than others. It's not fair. But instead of understanding, her parents got angry. Mr. Thompson cleared his throat. You should be proud, Emily, he said coldly. Let them fear you. That means they respect you. That's how we live our best lives, strong, feared, and in control. Mrs. Thompson added, don't let their weakness make you soft. We didn't raise you to be like them. Tears filled Emily's eyes, but she didn't cry. She stood there for a moment, hoping they would change their minds. But they didn't. Her father shouted, leave. Go to your room and don't bring this nonsense to us again. Emily quietly turned around and walked out of their room. She felt a heavy pain in her chest. All she wanted was a normal life, to be happy, to have friends. But her parents didn't understand. She lay on her bed that night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if things would ever change. That night, after her parents sent her out of their room, Emily lay on her bed feeling so sad and alone. Her heart was heavy, and she didn't even feel like sleeping. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she looked up at the ceiling. Then she folded her hands and began to pray. Dear God, she whispered, please help me. I don't like the way my parents treat people. They are so harsh and unforgiving. Everyone is scared of them, and now they're scared of me too. She wiped her tears and continued, please, God, change their hearts. Make them kind and loving. Let them see that it's better to show mercy and treat others with respect. I don't want to live like this anymore. Emily paused for a moment. Then added quietly, and please, God, don't punish me for the things they do. I know they are my parents, but I don't agree with how they act. I want to be different. Please don't let me be part of their wicked reward. I want to live a life that pleases you. Please help me, Lord. She kept praying like that for a long time. She talked to God about all her worries and fears. Even though her heart was still hurting, she felt a little bit better after praying. It was like someone was listening and understood her pain. That night, Emily finally fell asleep with her Bible beside her and hope in her heart that one day, things would change. Not long after, the Christmas season began to approach. Mr. Thompson and his family were getting ready to travel to their village to spend the holiday period. Emily was very happy and full of excitement. She could not wait to see her cousin sisters and brothers again. If only her parents would allow her be with them. Finally, the day came. The family got into one of their best cars and began their journey to the village. But something terrible happened on the way, something they never dreamed of. They had a terrible accident. The car crashed badly. Mr. and Mrs. Thompson died immediately at the scene. Emily was badly shaken and hurt, but not seriously. She was rushed to the hospital by kind strangers. When the sad news reached their village, no one from the family came to the hospital. No one showed any concern for Emily or the loss of her parents. Luckily, a good Samaritan who saw the accident helped pay for Emily's hospital bed and treatment. After a few days, Emily got better. With the help of the kind stranger, she was taken to her parents' hometown, where they were buried. Emily was now alone. Her life had changed forever. Emily didn't know what to do again. She was tired, hungry, and all alone. With tears in her eyes, she picked up her small bag and began walking slowly to her auntie's house. She hoped her auntie would have pity on her and allow her to stay, at least for a while. When she got to the house, she knocked on the door. After some time, her auntie opened the door and looked at her in surprise. "What are you doing here?" Her auntie asked sharply. "Auntie, please," Emily said, her voice shaking. "I have nowhere else to go. Please let me stay here, even if it's just for a few days. But her auntie frowned and said coldly, "There is no space for you in this house. Go and meet your dead wicked parents in their grave." Emily's heart broke. "Please, auntie," she begged, falling to her knees. "I have no one else. I'm sorry for anything my parents may have done, but I'm not like them. Please don't send me away." Her auntie shook her head. "If your late parents had been kind when they were alive, maybe you would be too. But they were wicked, and I believe the same blood runs in you. Leave this place." Emily cried and begged, but her auntie and her turned her back on her and shut the door. She stood there for a long time, feeling lost and unwanted, not knowing where to go next. Emily slowly walked away from her auntie's house and sat by the corner of the building. Her heart felt heavy. She stared at the ground, thinking of what to do next, but no thoughts came. Her mind was blank. She remembered the city and thought about going back, but then she checked her small bag. There was no money inside. Not even a coin. She had nothing. Tears filled her eyes and slowly ran down her cheeks. She wished her auntie could forgive and let her come back inside, even if just for one night. She hugged her knees and cried quietly, hoping someone would help her. After some time, the door creaked open. Her auntie stepped out and saw Emily still sitting at the corner of the house. Her auntie frowned and shouted, "I told you to leave. Don't you understand? Go away and never come back here again." Emily's heart broke even more. She stood up slowly, wiping her tears with the back of her hand. Her legs were weak, but she turned and walked away, not knowing where she was going. Emily kept walking through the village, her heart heavy with pain. She could feel people's eyes on her. Everywhere she went, someone was whispering, "That's her," they said. "That's the only daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. The wicked rich politicians who died not long ago," some people pointed. Others just stared. Emily heard their voices, but she didn't say a word. Her throat felt tight, like she couldn't breathe. Tears filled her eyes, and before she knew it, they were falling down her cheeks. She didn't try to wipe them away. She didn't try to explain herself. What could she even say? All she could do was cry and walk away. Her feet dragged on the ground as she wished, deep in her heart, that she was never born. "I didn't ask for this life," she thought. "Why me? Why do I have to carry their name? Their shame?" The world felt too big, too loud, too cruel. And Emily felt so small. Emily sat alone on a bench in the park. She didn't know what else to do. Her head was full of thoughts, and her heart was full of pain. She had no money, no food, and no place to go. As she sat there thinking, an idea came to her. "Maybe I can beg people for money," she said to herself. "Just enough to go back to the city." She stood up and started walking around the park, asking strangers for help. "Please, can you help me? I just need money to go home," she said softly. Some people ignored her. Some looked at her with pity. A few gave her coins, and others gave her small notes. Slowly, she gathered some money. When she had enough, she found a bus going to the city and paid for her transport. Hours later, she arrived at the front of their house. She was tired but hopeful. But something didn't feel right. She looked up and was shocked to see the gateman standing outside the gate with his bag. "Papa John," she said, surprised. "What are you doing out here?" The old man looked at her and shook his head sadly. "Ah, Emily," he said. "Some men came a few hours ago. They told me the house and everything your father owned is now government property. They said your father got all this from embezzling money. They walked me out of the house and locked the gate. Emily shouted, "Jesus!" and dropped to her knees, crying loudly. Papa John looked at her and sighed deeply. "This is not a crying matter, my daughter. You better go back to the village. There's nothing left here," he said. Then he picked up his bag and walked away, leaving Emily alone once again. Emily stood at the gate, her eyes filled with tears, crying bitterly. Her voice shook as she looked up to the sky and asked, "God, why is all this happening to me?" She wiped her face with her sleeve, but the tears kept coming. "My only auntie in the village chased me away like I was nothing," she said, her voice cracking. "She told me never to come back. My father's kinsmen too, they refused to let me into my father's house because he forcefully took the land from them. Now that the government has taken this one here in the city, where do I go?" She looked around, but all she saw were passing strangers, none stopping to ask if she was okay. "I have no one," she whispered, almost to herself. "No home, no family, no place to lay my head. God, why?" Emily dropped to her knees right there by the gate. Her heart was heavy, her body tired. "Where do I go from here?" she asked again, her voice barely audible. But there was no answer. Only the wind, blowing gently, like a silent witness to her pain. Hopelessness covered her like a thick blanket. For the first time, she truly felt alone in the world. Emily walked slowly to the corner of the road in the night. She sat down on a cold stone by the side of the road and hugged her knees, feeling the pain deep in her chest. "I'm 16 years old now," she whispered to herself. "And I'm already facing this kind of rejection. It means nobody wants me. All because of what my parents did. The mistakes they made, the sin they committed. Now I'm the one paying for it." Tears rolled down her cheeks as she looked up at the dark sky. "How am I going to survive this? What am I going to do now?" Her stomach growled loudly. "I'm even hungry. No food. No water. Nothing." She wiped her tears and slowly stood up. Her eyes burned with anger, and her voice became firm. "I will go into street. That's the only option I have now." But as she stood there, something deep inside her felt heavy. She didn't want this life. She didn't dream of this. She was just tired, hurt, and lost. Please like, comment and subscribe for part 2.